I'm the only one dancing? You're going to leave me?
I'm trying. I'm not very mobile right now. I can do that. Welcome to a happy hour. We're back. Drew Franklin, Tyler Thompson, and Zach Gagan in the third chair today. Just a three-pack. Been busy times around here, so I think the three of us can handle another edition of our KSR Happy Hour presented by Country Boy Brewing. I cannot have beer today. Got some steroids in me, but I do have water in a Country Boy cup. Ooh. So I'm going to follow my doctor's orders and not drink at 4 o'clock. But I do still rep the brand. It's got the Kentucky flag seal.
Is that one of the ones that you can refill at KS Bar? We had that promo for a while where you could refill it for a certain amount or something like that.
You're not suggesting I would take a cup from KS Bar, would you?
Do you look like Ryan Lemon?
No. But we have Country Boy at KS Bar, or just down the street, they have their place at Chair Avenue, the big spot out in Georgetown, or you can go play pickleball out here my way at the Midway intersection. They keep adding lights to that place. I said that last week. I think they've lit it up even more. So it's a fun place. Check it out if you're in Lexington. We always love Country Boy and our partnership with them. But we do have a fun timeline to get to today and a big volleyball match coming up later tonight. I'll start there with our volleyball excitement. There's going to be a party at KS Bar for anyone in the Lexington area who can't go to Kansas City or didn't go to Kansas City. I'm going to stay for about a set. That's all I can handle right now as I'm dealing with back issues, but I'm excited to see how excited this fan base is. I think the restaurant will be packed. I've seen videos from Kansas City, Tyler, of fans that are popping in. We've known for a while that program can generate a buzz. The whole regular season was awesome. But it looks like Big Blue Nation is on fire for the volleyball team.
It's awesome. I mean, they're the best team on campus. They've proven it for about the last 2 months. I'm so happy for them and how excited everybody is. I won't lie, I was extra excited when Nebraska lost on Sunday because it kind of feels like it just opened up the bracket for Kentucky. I'm a little annoyed that they're playing Wisconsin because I don't really have good Final Four memories of Wisconsin. But if there's any team that can avenge that and turn it around, it's this volleyball team. So, and special shout out to Jacob Polachek, who is currently on the road to KC to cover it for us. And, when you think volleyball, you think Jacob. So it's a natural fit.
I think of a lot of things when I think of Jacob. Volleyball's not one of them, but yes.
It'll be a fun gig for Jacob. He's a Kansas guy. He can go see all his old spots.
Oh, he left at the opportunity. Yeah.
Mm. I remember when they – sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
I was just going to say, I remember when they won the championship a few years ago, just the excitement around Lexington then. Were you covering it, that one, Zach?
I just remember it very well. I think we had someone from KSR covering it who I think works for On3 now. I forget exactly. One of our interns at the time was covering it, but I remember exactly where I was when they won. And I think, kind of on a sour note, I think it was like the exact same time that Terrence Clark's passing happened as well. It was a very, very bittersweet type of 24 hours there, if I remember correctly. Maybe that was the Final Four or something, but I remember it very well.
Yeah, and I remember I pulled over. I was in Louisville and had to get back to Lexington, but there was one set left, and I just watched the whole set parked in my car in a random gas station. It's we don't get many Final Fours and national championships around here lately, and Craig Skinner on the verge of maybe a second. Tyler, does it make you nervous? I know we're excited that the path opened, but now you have the target on your back as the top seed. They're the betting favorite. Does that add some anxiety, or does that just make you more excited and confident in finishing the job?
It would make me nervous if it were basketball or football, but watching this team, they look so confident and loose, and they're having fun. And I mean, just so assertive. Like in their last couple of matches, I think the third sets, they've just absolutely dominated. So if any team can handle that spotlight, it's them. And I love all the events that come with a Final Four in general are fun, but for a volleyball Final Four, they have a red carpet before the matches tonight. Sure. That's kind of cool. Why not? I think it's really cool that they're getting to do all these fun things. I'm so happy for them. I'm a little surprised, or maybe it just hasn't happened yet. We haven't seen Craig Skinner's last stunt. I mean, was that it? I feel like we were teased with one more thing. So maybe he's saving it in case they win tonight.
What do you do? Do you get in a rocket ship at that point? What is there left to actually do? Bungee jump? I remember I asked him about it in the press conference the other day when they were sending him off. I was like, "Was that your idea for the whole jet thing?" He's like, "No, I'm not. I'm not thinking of any of this type of stuff. This is like someone above him is making all those calls." But yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll get a video here in an hour or two on the Kentucky Volleyball Twitter showing us some sort of video where he's doing, the bungee jumping. I think that could be, something, some skydiving. Do
Dangerous.
something, Craig. Yeah, go higher into the sky.
I took the jet as the last step because it was just trying to get people to Memorial. Now it's the Final Four. He was trying to sell tickets at home. I saw the jet as the final version, but if he does another one, that would be awesome. I don't even know what you could do. But if Craig Skinner can pull off anything, which reminds me, how awesome is that photo of him coaching JV in Muncie, Indiana with the coach he's coaching against tonight? What are the odds of two guys coaching assistant volleyball in Muncie, Indiana, now meeting in the semifinals of the Final Four?
I'll
Nick
put
Roush,
that in the chat so we can show it. Yeah,
Nick,
if we could pull that picture up.
Nick's analogy on KSR was something like, imagine if Dan Hurley and some other famous coach were like playing in the championship game and they happened to coach JV high school basketball in nowhere, Indiana 30 years ago. Like that's kind of like, just think about it like that. It's kind of crazy when you put it in that perspective, but it must have been a powerhouse over there.
Yeah, Craig's building one here. I saw, 4 All-Americans were announced yesterday. Not a surprise. 4, I mean, that might have been a surprise, but Brooklyn DeLay and Eva Hudson have been special. The whole team's been good, obviously, but I was watching a feature before their last match where it was a former coach from Florida, I believe. I don't remember her name, but she was just breaking down how having them on each end is impossible to account for. And then I guess Wisconsin will have their hands full tonight. Tyler, as you mentioned, they've ruined a special team before. We can't let them do it again.
Absolutely not. Oh, I think Steven's about to pull up.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Pants, though. Great pants.
What's better,
and that hair
or the pants? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I've never seen Craig Skinner with hair before until this very picture.
Are those Zubaz pants?
I think they are.
Incredible.
Those two guys, screams 90s or 80s or whatever. I guess 35 years ago. Yeah, that would be 90.
Can I rattle off some volleyball stuff for you?
Yes.
Rattle off all you need.
So you're talking about the 4 All-Americans. DeLay and Hudson were the first teamers. DeLay, that was her second straight All-American. For Hudson, that was her third straight All-American. She had 2 more at Purdue before she came here. Molly Tuzzo, the libero, kind of as I've come to learn more about volleyball, that's kind of the under-recognized position is the libero. So for her to even get a third team All-American nod was pretty impressive. So good for her. Then Cassie O'Brien, pretty much the superstar of this, or the future superstar of this team, freshman, second team All-American, first ever National Freshman of the Year for Kentucky volleyball, which is impressive because Emma Grome, I think, was really close to doing that as well a few years ago when they had their title team. So really good honor for O'Brien as well. She was also the SEC Freshman of the Year. Only one senior on this entire team, and it's Eva Hudson. So we're already, we're hyped and excited about the Final Four, but we can go ahead and kind of look ahead to next season and say, man, Craig Skinner, all he has to do is really replace. I mean, obviously, Hudson is one of 4 national finalists for Player of the Year, so you got to replace a high level player, but you got a potential dynasty brewing here in Lexington if Craig Skinner can finish the job here and then just kind of retool the roster a little bit in the offseason going into the next season. We're already thinking, my fiance and I, Meredith, we're already thinking about getting season tickets for next season. So we're kind of on that train right now, seeing if we can really buy into the whole volleyball juice. So we're excited. We went to the Sweet 16 match against Cal Poly where that match took 70 minutes, 80 minutes at most, because that third set was the most dominant thing that we've seen in a long time. Poor Cal Poly had no fight in that game. So, but it's been a lot of fun to follow this team kind of closely and from afar throughout the whole season. And hopefully Jacob Polacek can be the one to bring us home a championship, some championship hardware, which is just crazy.
We're blaming him if they don't. We're definitely blaming him if something goes wrong.
Totally fine with me.
Yeah, you mentioned O'Brien. She's freshman of the year. You have DeLay, assuming they're coming back. DeLay could be back, and then isn't Lizzie Carr a junior?
Carr's also a junior, yeah. And she's had a great tournament as well. She's kind of broken out of she was always good and consistent, but her being 6'6" or whatever she is has really kind of stood out, at least through the NCAA tournament. Andrew Carr's sister, obviously. She
played her best at the Sweet 16 where she played so well. I think that's the one you were at.
Yeah, the Cal Poly. She was just. I don't know if Cal Poly just didn't have the same size, but the second the ball was in Lizzie Carr's area, she was just smacking it right down, and there was nothing you could do. She's just too tall, essentially sitting over the net at that point. So, But they've been a lot of fun. They're really exciting. It's nice to watch a team that just dominates every single team that they play. They've only lost one set in this entire tournament so far, and that was to UCLA in the the round of 32. So great start for them so far. And yeah, you don't have to worry about Nebraska or Texas or anybody. Just that Pitt team on the other side of the bracket is the one you're worried about. That was the one that swept Kentucky in like the second or third match of the season. So I'm sure they would actually probably love to face Pitt again, as opposed to a Texas A&M team that they've already beaten.
Do you want to sing Monster Block with me?
So I'd never heard of
Monster Block.
Monster Block. We were into it in the game too. Like by the second set, we were all doing the Monster Block thing. So I had to watch the video at Drew Franklin's request before going to that, just so I made sure I knew what I was doing. But yeah, so I guess that's the volleyball thing, and that was my first match in person going to that one. So it was fun. As the match went along, everyone in the crowd was like slowly getting more into it too with the Monster Block. So yeah, really fun, and a fun new song, new vocal stem for me that I just say out loud randomly throughout the day.
It is an electric atmosphere in there, kind of electric like LG&E and KU. They're electric, right?
Yeah.
And they know that when the lights go out, it can be a full court press. That's kind of volleyball related, more basketball. But staying in the know is an easy win. Update your phone number in the LG&E and KU mobile app or in My Account. If the power goes out, you'll get play-by-play text from 454-358 with outage updates, safety information, and time estimates for restoration. Because in the dark, there's no defense. Both LG&E and KU, you've always got a team working to get the lights back on and let you know the game plan. Update your number today at lgne-ku.com/outages. Boom.
Well
Thank
done.
you, LG&E and KU.
Boom.
Had to get that in there. Waited way too late last time. They deserve better. You want to talk a little St. John's?
Sure.
Let's do it.
We ready for
Kentucky
St.
better
John's?
have their
Y'all fired
defense
up?
for St. John's. As fired up as one can be for Mark Pope versus Rick
getting there.
Pitino.
We'll start with Mark Pope's press conference today, since that's fresh. I talked for a while today. Anyone have a favorite update or anything that stood out?
I mean, the Jaden Quaintance stuff we'll get to. That was kind of its own thing. I'm really worried that Pope is just going to be like a mental case going up against Pitino. Like, because every time he was asked about him, he would get a little, I don't know, I'm going to say nervous, but he'd stammer just a little more. Feel like he's going to be in his head a little bit. He did say, like, they haven't started trash talking yet, but can you imagine trash talk between Mark Pope and Rick Pitino?
I can't actually.
Pope would not do that. I can't imagine him doing that. I did think it was interesting. We got a non-answer on the denim uniforms, the potential that they may debut them. St. John's would be the obvious one because it's the 30-year anniversary of the 95-96 team. But had Kentucky not beaten Indiana, I can't imagine that they would still want to roll those out. So maybe it's the win over Indiana that keeps that a possibility. I mean, are you all hyped to see the denim uniforms tomorrow, or would you rather save them for another day? I don't know.
I'd rather save the denim. We're not in a great place, and I'm with you. I worry Pope surrenders to Pitino too much. I've thought that all along. Like when he brought him out as his first madness, I thought, no, make this about you. Pitino can have that moment on down the road. Everything has just been. I know he's his mentor and he coached him, and that's how he feels. But at some point, I need him to stick his chest out. You know, I'm tired of hearing
Championship
student teacher. Yeah, and I'm looking up to him and Rick. No, you're Mark Pope. You coach Kentucky. Let's get some confidence. I kind of feel like he still surrenders to Rick a little bit.
There, one thing I did like was someone asked about, you know, because I think I kind of forgot about this, but I think Pope joked like maybe back in the offseason about wearing Pitino's all white suit at some point or something like that. So he was kind of asked about that today, and he said, no, we won't be seeing that. That would be an interesting look, though. I just feel like he's so tall that like an all white look, he would probably look like. This is a reference not for you guys, but he kind of looked like a skinnier Doug Dimmadome from Fairly Odd Parents reference. Some people will get that one. And then he was also we had the denim question there, and he was asked like last time he's talked to Pitino, and he said it was after the Michigan State game, and Pitino told him to get his act together, which I thought was kind of funny.
He used a different word.
Yeah, I believe that conversation was probably a little bit different than the 5-word summary Pope gave us, but. Those were some fun. Hello?
Zach, it's his name is Doug Dimmadome, home of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Yes, Doug Dimmadome, home of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Thank you, Stephen, for correcting me there.
I didn't know what that voice was. I was like, somebody in Zach's house yelling at him?
I was looking up for God, I thought it was, but it was just Stephen Peake. Same guy, really. But so yeah, the St. John's, that was most of the Patino talk, and then a little bit about St. John's and just how they're physical and they're a really good offensive rebounding team, which Kentucky has seen a bunch this season already. So I know we don't have our Bet MGM line yet, but I'm sure it's going to be very, very tight. I think Ken Palm has like a St. John's 1-point win, kind of a low-scoring affair as well, like played in the 70s. So that might just be Kentucky's identity right now, is just be physical, play good defense, and see if you can muster up enough points to sneak out wins. And this will be a really good test for that, whether or not Jaden Quaintance plays.
Tyler Pope said he's going to dress appropriately to match up with Rick, but Pope only wears quarter zips on the road. He wears suits at home, quarter zips on the road. So he'll actually have to break his own tradition and wear a suit on the road. For anyone superstitious, that might be a good thing since we're 0-3 this year outside of Rupp. Do you think he's going to try to show off a little bit, or is that just a Pope press conference talk?
I think he will. Didn't he film a video at like Logan's over the summer when he was getting his suit? And that's as close to trash talk as we'll get from Mark Pope when it comes to this game.
But my Italian leather belt from Logan's.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I will say I didn't really love the whole talking about how this team is going to play smash mouth basketball and it's going to be ugly and violent and vicious. And yeah. I get that that's kind of how Kentucky has to play right now because they're not shooting well, but I never in my life thought we would describe a Mark Pope team as smash mouth basketball, ugly, violent, vicious, but whatever to win at this point.
I just like to see an identity. So if that's what it has to be, then that's what it has to be.
Kentucky's the fourth SEC opponent St. John's will have played already in just 12 games. They lost to Alabama and Auburn, and they beat Ole Miss. I think that one was
Travis
kind of
Perry's
close.
team.
Yeah, slow start for Trav down there. They scored like almost 100 points on Alabama. I know that style of play. They matched up with them, but otherwise they've had trouble shooting this year. Not a good shooting team. I think we kind of match up very similar styles. What do we think of the Bryce Hopkins aspect of seeing him again after he spent some time as a Cat?
I completely forgot he played for St. John's now. In my mind, it was like just yesterday, Kentucky beat Providence in that game. And where were we? Greensboro. But yeah, we'll see him again. I mean, this is year number 5 for Hopkins in college.
Ooh, it might
be. Fifth year, third team.
Yeah, wow.
Well, I mean, Kentucky's beaten them once, so we'll see.
I'm a little worried about St. John's defense, especially if they get us in the half court. Here lately, yes, they've been giving up like 61 points a game and holding teams to just atrocious shooting percentages. So I worry if we get a little jammed up in the half court, what that can turn into, because Kentucky has obviously struggled against anyone with a pulse this year outside of Indiana. But I worry about Rick and that defense putting the clamps on Pope's boys and then Pope having to stare down old Rick over there on fire. Rick might wear the white suit. That will add to it.
I think he will. I think he definitely will.
He wore it last year in the Garden against either Seton Hall. St. John's was first, Seton Hall or UConn, but the place just erupted in the Garden. They went on to win. So there is some magic in that suit. I really hope he doesn't bring it back out. And I really hope Bryce Hopkins still doesn't have any bad feelings about the loss in the tournament.
Do you all believe Mark Pope and that this team really does have good shooters, and at one point the shots are just going to fall? I think, Stephen, weren't you working on a video about that, about how all the shots against Power 4 teams really have just like rimmed in and out? I think Stephen was working on something like that.
Yeah, he was.
That sounds like a Stephen project.
It does sound like a Stephen project because it is. There's I've charted every single 3-point attempt from these Power 4 games, including the Georgetown and Purdue game. It is weird how many of those rim out. I guess you could argue that, well, a good shooting team, it would just go in, right? So, I mean, at a certain point, the numbers kind of say you are what you are, but I do kind of of course I want to believe that Pope is right and that eventually the shots are going to go in. So, yeah, be on the lookout for that. I'm going to use the St. John's game as one final piece of this before I put it together and just kind of show Cam Williams especially. He's had several go in and out, so maybe his will start falling too.
So we're just barely off. They're not bad misses. We got a couple guys on the team. One in particular that when he misses, he makes sure he misses. Well, I was thinking Aberdeen. When Aberdeen misses, Aberdeen misses.
There's a lot of even in Colin Chandler a little bit. Like when they miss, it's like, man, you just have no idea where the ball is going to go. Like Cam Williams loves to shoot it over the rim, and yeah, Aberdeen, he'll swish one and then he'll airball one, then he'll swish another one. He's kind of back and forth like that. But our friend Brandon Ramsey has kind of been leading the charge on the whole 3-point shooting. Is not probably as big of an issue as we're making it out to be. His thing going into the season was he wanted so many guys to make 1 3 a game at a 33% clip. And this team actually has more doing that right now than last season's team. They just don't have like a Kobe Bryant or a Jackson Robinson type where you can have them shoot 8 a game and expect them to make 3 or 4 of them. So a lot of the guys are on paper, it looks okay. But then when you differentiate like the non-power 4 versus power 4, Steven, you might have those numbers like more handy than I do, but like against the non-power 4 teams, they're shooting close to 40%, but against the power 4 teams, they're shooting like in the 20s. So there's a pretty big variance of like where they're of the competition level is pretty reflective of how they're shooting. But one thing I will say is Otega Owe is 6 for 10 on his corner threes this season. I love that stat. He just get this guy in the corner and he will make them. He's a corner specialist right now. So, but no, they're not a good shooting team.
I really think how
right
Kentucky plays inside could decide this. Their big dude, Zuby, however you pronounce his last name.
Yeah, really
good.
He's
a machine. I think he's top 10 in blocks. He was the Big East preseason player of the year, big rebounder. We'll talk in just a second about if they'll have Quaintance or not, but leaving him out of it, Moreno, all those guys, Garrison, when they get minutes, they have to get in there and bang with this dude because he's a beast. And rebounding has been an issue in some of these games. So as much as shooting will matter, these are two teams that have struggled a little bit out there. I think inside is where St. John's could hurt us the most, which brings us to the next topic. Jaden Quaintance. You got to put him out there. You got to put him out. He's fine. I watched the 6-second clip. That's all I needed to see. I saw him run end to end, dunk with 2 hands, land perfectly fine. Why are we waiting? Put him out there. Is anyone opposed to rolling Jaden Quaintance out now based on just what we know of practice reports in that video?
If he's doing as well as everybody is saying that he's doing in practice, and I didn't even need to see the video, just the picture of him dunking that they put out, I was like, oh my God. So I think you've got to. I understand it's a big stage and it's a top 25 team, but if you think that he can help you win, play him. Just play him. He's ready. If it had been up to him, he would have played, weeks ago. So just throw him out there. He's ready for it. Keep him in limited minutes, 10 to 12, because, conditioning is still a very real thing. But let's just do it. I'm ready to see him on the floor.
Yeah, I think maybe the one concern would be like the ramp up of conditioning stuff, like you mentioned there, because Pope said that it was Tuesday. That was the first time Quaintance ever crossed half court in drill work. So he's still kind of getting to the point of being able to run up and down the floor several times in a row, like for significant stretches. So that would be the one thing you'd want to bring up, but it's not like we're expecting him to go out there and play 25 minutes a game. I think you'd probably want him to sit closer to like the 8, 10, 12-minute mark, just kind of get him a feel, see if he can come in and make an impact. And if he doesn't really have it, then just bring in Brandon Garrison and Malachi Moreno and see what they can do. But I would love to see Jaden Quaintance back sooner than later, because he's a legitimate lottery pick, and in a stacked draft class too. Like that's the other thing, is this draft class is stacked with kids that have like been playing really, really well this year. Jaden Quaintance hasn't played basketball in 9 months, 10 months, and he's still considered a lottery pick. That's how good he was last year as a 17-year-old freshman at Arizona State. So he just does things that no one on this Kentucky team can do athletically and defensively. So it'd be nice to have him back for a game where you're playing an athletic and physical team like St. John's. And not really expecting him to come out there and get a double-double or something. Just come out there and bang around and make some plays here and there. But it sure would be nice to see him. Pope didn't say one way or the other, but if I had to just guess, no scuttle or scoop or anything, I'm saying get him out there. Get him out there. He's gonna play on Saturday.
I've watched those Arizona State highlights, that clip on Twitter. I've watched it so many times, going back good. Like a month and a half since the beginning of the season. That's like where I've found my basketball joy. You're getting the highlights, so everything's an exciting play on that video I'm talking about. I'm sure you all have seen it, but he really does have that timing of the elite shot blockers like Anthony Davis, Nerlens. I don't know that he'll become that. Maybe he will, but at least on blocking shots, the way he goes up and gets it at the top of its arch, and he can sneak up. There were some chase down blocks on breakaways, blocking a 3-point shooter, getting out on shooters. I mean, he seemed to do it all, and that's what I'm most excited, because Garrison, even going back to last year with Mario Williams, there's times where it's like they forget that they're allowed to jump. Like, we haven't been great at challenging
Yeah.
shots in the last year and couple months, going back to Pope's first team. So I love to see what he can bring defensively, because it looks like he can be elite in that aspect of the game. Then add some offense, and we'll see it really take off. I just hope Pope's not holding him as, playing with the food a little bit here. Like, you've lost 3 very important games so far. You can't mess around with St. John's. We need to get a win. Roll him out there and play him to the absolute max, whether that be 12 or 20 minutes, whatever he can do. I think they're going to need him as much as possible. They'll need Brandon Garrison too, Tyler. I think you had some nice timing on a story today. We hit publish on our Brandon Garrison feature after he had a great breakout performance, an up and down week, going from last Tuesday getting benched to a good breakthrough on Saturday in response. And then, of course, you rolled out that story today. So tell us about your conversations with him and his mom and everyone else.
Yeah, it's finally Brandon Garrison time, or at least Brandon Garrison feature time. So I've been working on this story for over a month. I interviewed him the day after the Louisville game. So that's over a month ago. And yeah, that was the first big loss. That was kind of like, oh man, what's going on with this team? He didn't play well in that game. The conversation then was going to be more lighthearted, more about being a father and how he balances that in basketball. And just, that was kind of the approach with it. And then as time went on, Kentucky kept playing worse and worse. And I love Brandon, but he was playing worse and worse. And then it led to Tuesday night when he got benched versus NC Central. And I was like, well, I don't think I can, not to make this about me, but I don't think putting this feature out was going to do any good for Brandon at that point. No matter what form it was in, it was not going to be good for him. So I was just quietly saying my goodbye to it. And then on Saturday night, he turned around and played great. I mean, his stats didn't really jump off the page, but his energy was amazing. He came in and provided a spark. He looked like the player that Kentucky had last season, who would just come off the bench, give a spark, bring the energy. And it's a big reason why Kentucky won that game, which they had to win. So I talked to his mother the next day, and she happened to be in Lexington for both of those games, the NC Central game and the Indiana game. And she brought his son, 2-year-old Akari. And she likes to make it to most games, but she lives in Oklahoma City. So that's not exactly, possible. So to hear her talk about kind of leading her son through that week and his emotions and being there for him and seeing how he responded to it, and then just her emotions you really should just go watch the video, because she was so open and honest about it. And if you're a parent or even just a human being, like listening to her talk about her son and how she had hoped she was getting through to him, but finally his performance versus Indiana kind of showed that she did. It was just really special. And I think it's a good reminder that these players are humans too. No one has taken more criticism than Brandon Garrison, especially on social media. And he's been pretty open about that. And his mom was too. And he had to take a social media break because it was just getting to be too much. So I still don't know if Brandon Garrison is going to play a huge part this season, but it was really good to see him respond the way he did, especially when things, will look a little uncertain. If Quaintance comes back and plays really, really well this season, Brandon's not going to play a ton, but in the minutes that he does play, he can still have an impact. So there was nobody happier than me on Saturday night when Brandon came in and kind of led that second half comeback. So cheers to Brandon.
I was wondering what kind of impact that could have on people when in that clip with his mom, she even says he's the most criticized player. It's like they're aware of all of that. And she gets teary-eyed there. I wonder if anyone that gets over the top with their stuff online sees that and thinks, man, I'm watching his mom cry because of stuff I'm writing on the internet. I try to keep it in balance. We do this for work. We can't just go crazy calling people names and things. I even feel bad seeing that clip for any criticisms I've given of him. And I try to keep it as professional as possible. Just seeing a mom crying over her kid getting just trashed by his own fans, that got to me a little bit too. And I encourage a lot of the fans to watch that. It's a reminder there are humans on the other side. But,
and also, I mean, both she and Brandon have been they've admitted that he's played badly, and Brandon has owned up to that. I think he's been incredibly mature in all of his comments. And so it's one thing to criticize someone for playing badly. It's another to get like personal and ugly and mean in your remarks. And why are you even putting them out there? Does that make you feel better? I mean, someone's going to see them, maybe even the person that you're talking about. So a good reminder to everybody. And just in addition to that, hearing him talk about his son is great. You get to see Brandon and like moments on Saturday after that big dunk, he had that big smile on his face, but there's no bigger smile on that kid's face than when he talks about his kid. And it's very, very sweet. And the two of them together are great. So definitely it's a fun story to share, I think, around Christmas time, because it's about family and, sacrifice and all that. But keep it up, Brandon. I'm very proud of him and happy for his mom and his son.
Zach, from a basketball standpoint, do we think he can take that breakout against the Indiana and how he responded and keep that moving forward and turn this into a better year?
Well, I was kind of I was going to reference a point that Tyler just made on that note. Is like, if Brandon didn't play well against Indiana with Jaden Quaintance's return imminent, like, who knows where he'd be in the rotation? How would he be dealing with that mentally, stuff like that? So he kind of had to have his big moment against Indiana just to keep himself afloat in the immediate future of the rotation, at least. And it's just great for his confidence as well and all that, because obviously he comes off as a kid who kind of wears his emotions on his sleeve a little bit, for better and for worse. We've seen the highs of it, we've seen the lows of it as well. But when he's at his most confident, you can see what he does. And he was making backdoor cut plays. He had a play where he caught the ball from the top of the key and dribbled it in and did a hop step into the lane and left-handed finish against it. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? This is not the Brandon Garrison we've saw over the last 8 games. So just in that, and just from a confidence standpoint and the rest of the season, he kind of had to have that game. And I mean, he's going to play real minutes against St. John's too. So you're going to need him out there to battle all their big guys. They have a kid named Dylan Mitchell, who's a 6'10" pogo stick type player who's really long and bouncy. So you're going to have, and then Zuby's kind of the big guy down there too. So they've got different ways of how St. John's has different ways of how they use their big men. And it's another team like Gonzaga and North Carolina where their best scorers, their best players are all big. So it's going to be a big opportunity for Brandon Garrison to, again, kind of establish himself in this in the rotation moving forward. But Tyler, I think that my favorite part of your feature was when they were talking about Mark Pope breaking his clipboard or the whiteboard or whatever during the the benching of Brandon Garrison there. And his mom was even like, damn, Mark. Not the exact words. I was like, damn, you didn't have to snap the whiteboard in front of all the guys. But even she was like, I kind of get it. It's an accountability thing. And Pope kind of, addressed that as well, saying that, he probably would have done things differently if he had that moment back. But the piece was very well done. It's over on KSR in the YouTube side as well. But Brandon Garrison's going to play a key role. I don't know if he'll start or whatnot. I imagine they'll probably still roll with Malachi as the starter. And then bring BG off the bench, depending on he'll come off the bench too. So, another big opportunity for him, and they're going to need Brandon Garrison to play. He's going to have to play real good minutes, whatever it ends up being, whether it's 8 or 22. He's going to have to contribute and be a big part of Kentucky's trying to get a win.
Yeah, even if Quaintance plays and looks good, they're still going to need big games from Marino and Garrison in this one on Saturday. And looking back at the Indiana game, and you mentioned this, but Garrison made a couple of passes that not many big men in college basketball can make. If he can do 2 or 3 those a game, couple a game, get those assists, I mean, he'll still command minutes. And I know we still say no, don't shoot when he shoots threes, but the percentage isn't bad. It's just he has those moments where he just completely disappears, and you almost want to make sure, especially defensively, are you even in this game? Are you here? And that's why hopefully that breakout with Indiana will carry forward, because we're going to need it. It's not on our list, but I wanted to make sure we include this. Zach, you're our NBA guy, and our boy Carl just won a big piece of hardware.
I thought you were about to talk about Duthiero.
Well, actually, we can talk about that too.
That's a crazy story, too.
Yeah, we'll add that
story.
Also. But first, Kat got some hardware. Are we enthusiastic about the NBA Cup? It looked like the Knicks sure appreciate it.
Well, so the thing on NBA Twitter is, do you respect the NBA Cup? Are you a respecter of the Cup? Is it something that matters to you? And I think for the most part, it's just a thing that casual fans don't really care about, especially in the group stage, until you get to the semifinals and the finals. Myself, I'm still following it, but even I, the group stage matches, you don't really care too much about. But the Knicks, that was their first championship in 50 years. So I guess I
You
don't
gotta
think
be
they're going to hang a
excited.
banner. I think the reports came out that they're not going to hang a banner for it, which I'm fine with. But yeah, Cat played well. He had 16 points, 11 rebounds in that championship win over De'Aaron Fox, Keldon Johnson, who probably can still buy his llama, because I don't think llamas are as expensive as kind of we were making them out to be. Like, I think the losing team, each player still gets over $200,000. I can't imagine a llama
You
costing.
could buy a llama with
He
that.
could probably buy a lot of llamas with $200,000. So
I know people in Madisonville, Kentucky, with llamas. They didn't pay $200,000.
Well, I know, and I think Carl said that he was going to use his money, and each winning player on the winning team got over $500,000, and I think he said he was going to use all that money to help kids in the Dominican Republic, which is where his mom is from. So really good for him, good for Kat, good for them to get a nice some hardware just for them. And like, you know, last season I think the Thunder were in the championship for it. They ended up losing, but you know, you could see a path. Like, you can kind of talk yourself into being like, okay, this is the precursor to maybe the Knicks winning it all. Like, they're probably going to be the favorite to come out of the East because my Cavs stink. But what another notable thing about that is Adam Silver kind of teasing the potential of having the NBA Cup championship being held at a college arena as soon as next season. And like, your mind kind of immediately goes to somewhere like Rupp Arena or maybe even North Carolina, because like Duke is too small. Like, you probably don't want to have it there. I don't know how many Cameron indoor seats, but it's not that many. The Kansas place probably is not as good as well. So like, I mean, if Adam Silver's serious about that, like, you feel like Rupp Arena would be a choice for that, because they did host a bunch of those preseason NBA games like a decade ago, and a couple of them drew like almost, you know, capacity crowds. Obviously featured a bunch of UK players in those, but you know, for this one in particular, like if this NBA Cup was at Rupp and you had Kat, De'Aaron Fox, Keldon Johnson, and Victor Wembanyama playing like on a Tuesday night with no UK basketball that week, I have to think that you'd probably fill that place with 20,000 people on a random, you know, Tuesday in December. So, yeah, the NBA Cup, I enjoy the semifinals, the championship. The rest of the stuff is whatever. Like, I would love to see them go to like a full-on just 32-team single elimination tournament whenever they do this expansion, and just have that, you know, see how that works out. I'm sure it's a scheduling nightmare, but that would be kind of fun to have like a little in-season actual single elimination tournament from that'd be 5 rounds, I guess. So, but I'm an NBA Cup guy, more or less. It's okay.
I get why they're considering Duke for the aesthetics of Cameron Indoor, but you
Not
get a
fitting
lot more
anyone in
people in Rupp. We got hotels now. Lexington's become a big city that can host events. We're good. We got complimented for how well we hosted, the Breeders' Cup. I think went crazy about it. Took us a little while, but we're there and ready for big events. Imagine just Wemby in the Hyatt lobby right before he walks over to Rupp and goes in the game.
He'd be the draw alone. Like, people would want to come see Kat and De'Aaron Fox, but like, you're telling me you can, like, I have plans to go see Victor Wembanyama at some point in person before he retires, or hopefully injuries don't derail his career. So I'm going to figure out a way to do that. And if he comes, and if it happens to be in Lexington one year, like, I'm going to do whatever I can to go buy that ticket. So it would be cool, and it could happen. Like, there's a lot of UK players on all these rosters, so if you're Adam Silver, you got to keep that in mind too. Like, you know, especially if the Thunder are in it, like, people want to come see Shea, they want to come see Kaysen, they want to come see Anthony Davis and all these guys. So you got to keep that in mind too if you're Adam Silver, and I'm sure he does.
And since you mentioned it, go ahead. Adu Thiero, Tyler, have you seen this? He got his car stolen.
I've just seen the headline, but I also saw the headline. I didn't get to watch any of the NBA Cup, unfortunately. It's been Brandon Garrison time.
It was on the Tuesday night.
Yeah. But I saw that Carl FaceTimed with Ben Stiller and Timothy Chalamet after they won. And then I saw that Carl was on the cover of the New York magazine with Ben Stiller. They were like on the subway or something, and it was part of like a Why We Love New York edition or something. But I'm happy Carl's doing well. Like, I really wanted him to succeed in New York, and now he's got some hardware to put with it, even if it's the NBA Cup. But this Adu Thiero story about the car, like, what a headline. Zach, you got to fill us in on that, because even though Adu's not a cat anymore, I still, whenever I see his name, automatically my ears perk up. So.
Well,
he's still a former Cat to me.
Yeah. Oh, he's still he's still a former Cat. Like, if we put him in the Cats in the NBA stuff, you know, like, he's still in the BBNBA group. But before I do, like, how do you pronounce the last name of this wide receiver from the Rams?
Puka Nacua.
Nacua. Okay.
Yeah, his brother.
Puka Nacua's brother So the Kua family has been in the headlines all week for various reasons, and like I won't get into the stuff with the other guy, Puku. What is his name?
Yeah, Puka. Puka
Puka.
won't be one of our topics.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about him. He's doing his own stuff over there. So, but
He
Samson,
said too much on one of these live streams. Like we're doing. He needed to be turned off.
he did, and I think he issued some sort of apology about it today because he got caught. But yeah, so his brother, who's older than him, he's like 27, Samson, and his friend or whatever, they decided to steal Adu Thiero's car in Los Angeles over the weekend. They stole it. I don't know where Adu had it. I don't know what it was like. It's a BMW SUV. I know that from some of the stuff I was reading. They stole it, and I guess they just went joyriding with it because they decided to valet it at this hotel called One Hotel on Sunset Boulevard and just leave it there in the valet spot. So obviously very easy for the police to identify all of that when they see Adu's car leaving with Adu not in it, and they see the car just being pulled into this random hotel and valeted and set up shop. So they arrested him pretty quickly and all this. But I think just and obviously, so I think they're still in jail currently as it is, or at least based on the reporting, because this all came out last night, but it happened over the weekend. So I don't know, like if I assume Adu got his car back. Hopefully it's still like kind of in one piece or whatever. But the thing that blows my mind about the whole story is just the valet part. Like, if you're going to steal someone's car, why are you valeting it immediately, in the same city, probably a couple blocks away? That just asking to get caught. So, but again, the Kua family, it doesn't seem like they're, like, at least in this, those two brothers in particular, maybe not all the bulbs are screwed in properly with them. But yeah, just a kind of an insane headline when you read it. It's like, it's very much a Mad Libby type thing. But, so I hope Adu got his car back. I haven't seen anything about that yet.
Now, what are the odds? Star of the Rams, younger or older brother, way too old to be stealing cars. I mean, there's no age where it's good to steal cars, but he's definitely way too old to be stealing cars. What are the odds of him, a Rams family, taking it from the Lakers? That's one of those LA headlines. Just throw some names in a jar and shake them up.
Is it like a targeted thing? Like, were they targeting Adu Thiero specifically? Like, and I don't know if you saw this as well, guys, but Samson, I guess, plays in the USFL or won't be probably ever again. But like, there's a video of him smacking a fan from back in April, like in the crowd after a game happened, like just going up and just smacking the fan across the face. That video went viral. So it's been a tough year for Samson Nakua, that's for sure.
He's
I guess
making
his brother's
great life decisions.
Yeah, his brother's still like an all-pro player, so he's probably fine. Like, he'll just apologize and people will wipe it under the rug and stuff like that. But for this other kid, Samson, he's probably in some deep doo-doo. So I don't know if he'll be welcomed back by the Michigan Panthers, was the USFL team that he played for.
I think he played college at BYU too.
He did. He was on the same, because that's where I keep forgetting the name. Paku, whatever, the other brother, he also played there at BYU. Puka. Yeah. I keep wanting to say Poku, old Thunder player named Poku.
Call him whatever you want. Puka's got a big game coming up in a few hours. He's on Thursday Night Football tonight, opposite Kentucky Volleyball. I wonder who will win that ratings war there. Obviously, Kentucky Volleyball.
I just wonder at what point, like, when they're doing this joyride after you steal the car, there had to have been a moment where they were like, oh, we probably shouldn't have done this. And then they just turn it into the valet. And also, BMWs are very nice. BMW SUVs, there are some really, really fancy ones out there. That's the car you're going to steal? Like, I'm sure there are a lot nicer cars in the Lakers garage than Adu Thiero's. I don't know. It
doesn't even seem like they were trying to keep it. They were just...
Yeah. Like,
they're going to leave it there probably.
I don't know.
They should have done what I did when I stole the car from Kroger. They should have just been like, whoops, we got the wrong one.
Yeah.
So sorry, we're putting it right
crazy
back.
How that...
We didn't touch anything. Sorry about that. I owe you a couple bucks in gas money.
Oh, man.
Let's get some KS board questions. Also, before I read this one, Matt G's been trying to figure out his Taco Bell order for a while. He, shout out to the Quesarito. I saw you.
I was about to say, it's back, right?
I just hope he gets it figured out. He's been trying to take our orders. I think he's been talking to Steven in their own private chat. But good to see you, Matt G. I hope you get.
There's something going on with him
Bell
and
soon.
Holly. Yeah, he and Holly are having a little back and forth. Maybe a love connection. I don't know.
Holly likes the beefy
matchmaker.
5-layer burrito. That's my go-to. Also, Holly, same team. And the chicken quesadilla, Matt G. Talking my language. This is making me hungry. All right, put that question back up. Just had to shout out our comments. From Nick Calzado, Will Wolford. What is your favorite UK-themed gift you have received or given?
I have a good one.
Go ahead.
So it was I forget. I think it was the Karl Anthony Towns year, so 2014-15. We never really get to, like, growing up, we never really got to, like, have good seats going to those sort of games. So I remember for Christmas that year, my dad got me, it was like upper level but first row, to go see Kentucky play. I believe it was Florida, and Florida at the time was ranked like 18 or 19 or something. Kentucky's obviously still number one in the country. We had great seats for that, and I remember Kentucky won by, like, I mean, they ran them out of the building. It was like a 20, 25-point win, and I was ecstatic. Like, I loved all of it. But my dad's not like a massive basketball fan, so he was actually kind of pissed because he paid all this money to go see what he was hoping would be a good basketball game, and it was just Kentucky winning by 30 points. But I remember that one. I'll remember that one for probably for the rest of my life, because it was probably my first, like, real big UK game I got to go to as a fan, where I got to, like, have good seats and kind of enjoy it and all that stuff. So that was really fun.
Nice. I'd say the best one I've given was to my nephew Alex. Back a couple years ago, whenever Oscar Shibwe was on the team, I got my nephew a cameo from Oscar, and it was awesome. It was like a minute and a half long, and he was just pure Oscar wonderfulness, like giving both like a motivational talk and like a sermon. It was very, very sweet, and like just watching my nephew open his phone and like see it on Christmas was pretty cool. But in terms of like receiving, I mean, tickets are always a great one, clothes, but yeah, seeing my nephew get a personalized video from Oscar Shibwe was pretty neat.
I bet he still does those.
Probably.
Oscar.
I used to every year get my grandmother for her birthday the Cat's Paws yearbook. I thought that was like the greatest gift ever. Every year she got that, and I would always get UK stuff in return. Like the year in '96 when they won them in Meadowlands, I think everything I got had that logo on it. I mean, I had a blanket, the sweatshirt, the T-shirt, the hat, even my little metal trash can in my bedroom had Meadowlands. So I would say it's just all those combined, the Meadowlands year. I think I had everything you could put that logo on. I think I have a basketball behind me up here somewhere. Anything dedicated to that team would have been my favorite. A close second would be around that time, maybe a year or two before, my mom found we were shopping at Marshall's. Everybody knows Marshall's, right?
Love it.
Got discount stuff. They had a full Tony Delk icicle uniform in there at Marshall's price. Like I couldn't afford going to, Foot Locker or whatever and getting it off the rack, the authentic. But the Marshall's brand was in my category, and I wore that Tony Delk jersey with no shirt under it and the icicle shorts anywhere they would let me. So that's a close second to those 1996 memories.
Great one.
Shout out Marshalls. Let's get another KS board question from the Cat man. What do you think is on Pope's Christmas list? Is there any thought to adding a JUCO G League player like a shooter to the team over the break? I don't see them adding to anyone over the break, but we could probably come up with some fun answers for a Pope Christmas present. Unless you all do think he will add someone during the break. That might be something working behind the scenes, but I can adjust
that real quick. I know that Jack Pilgrim asked him about that maybe a couple weeks ago, like the idea of potentially adding in like a guy mid-season, something like that. Pope didn't exactly rule it out, but he didn't seem like it was something that they were actively looking at. I will just say that USC just added a Robert Morris transfer today who is going to play sooner rather than later. USC's had like a bunch of injury issues, so you can kind of see it a little bit more with them. But they added a guy who played at Robert Morris last year, was like a 15-point per game guy. I forget his name exactly off the top of my head, but it did just happen today where a kid is going to come in, I think probably come in whenever the new semester starts, or I don't know how that all works, if he'll be ready to play in their next game or not. But it did just happen, so it is a possibility. And but Kentucky already has so much depth that I would probably just imagine that's not going to happen. With JQ back, you have 12 players, 13 players that can see the floor, so probably not.
I think if Lowe had set out the year, that's something you really consider. But it's looking like, he could get hurt at any moment. But he's going to be playing enough minutes as long as he's healthy. I think it'd get a little too crowded, maybe mess up chemistry if you are going to have him for the year. So I think that's unlikely. But do you all have any fun suggestions for what Mark Pope might want for Christmas? Maybe a voice?
A win over Rick Pitino.
Is that voice still out?
He's
fine today. Okay.
Yeah, he was good today, so I don't know, but
is that an excuse for just not yelling? Is he just want us to believe that so he can sit there and stare off into space when the TV shows him?
Well, there are some of these press conferences, the last couple ones, like when he comes into the post-game microphone, like his voice is hoarse. Like you could tell he's been screaming and yelling. So
good.
I do believe that he gets after him a little bit, but he was fine today. So he had Had a little lozenge, and he was good to go.
I think he downplays the whole, game versus Pitino and the importance of the St. John's game from a personal standpoint. But I really think that he wants this game. Like, I think there is some kind of mental thing to beating your old coach, and especially one that he respects as much as he does Pitino. It would be a huge win for Kentucky on paper, but I think for him, that would be a really big confidence boost. So if I could cheat and say he wants a win over St. John's for Christmas, I'll take that.
And a healthy Jaden Quaintance, and a healthy Jalen Lowe, and a happy
and Mo Diabate.
And Mo Diabate. Somebody Ken Foster said chemistry. What's that? Touche, Ken Foster, touche. But I think we've turned a corner a little bit on that. We're seeing some momentum. Turning the corner. We're going to put those losses behind us, handle Rick on Saturday, and move on to get a little Bellarmine done. Then we worry about the SEC slate. What's the next question, Stephen? Nick, again, what's on your Christmas list? Guys, I had an absolute panic this morning when on KSR, Matt said Christmas is in a week. I am screwed. Let's just be honest. I don't have gifts. I still haven't put up my decorations. I know last week I said I'm late. They're still sitting on the kitchen.
Oh, no, you didn't put up the tree?
Well, I was going to do it on Sunday.
Was
and
your
then
back
I got
hurting
to
or
where
something?
I couldn't move my back. I think I'm just going to have taken my Christmas decorations down from the attic, put them on the floor, and that was my Christmas, and I'm going to put them back. But I'm behind on gifts. Everybody's getting Amazon Prime stuff now because that's all I can pull off. I have Christmas anxiety. Please tell me you all are much better off.
I'm pretty solid on my gifts. The one I was really worried about, I got the shipping notification today. It will arrive on Christmas Eve. So I'm good in that department. Other than that, I don't really need anything for Christmas. I know that's like a lame duck out answer, but I'll also take a win over St. John's. And my Christmas gift was Brandon Garrison playing well against Indiana. So I feel like I can't ask for any more this year.
Yeah, nothing on my list or anything really. So I'm just I'm good on my gifts though. I got that all sorted out yesterday. I think I shipped the last one up to my dad in Massachusetts, which is where I'll be. So that's the nice thing. I don't even have to ship them to me. I just ship them up there, and then we'll wrap them all when we get up there and stuff. But I'm good on all that.
Did you go to the post office? To ship yours, or did you go?
No, I just do it straight from wherever I'm ordering it online.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, because I had to brave the post office yesterday, which
I will avoid that right now this week.
I got really lucky. So the self-service kiosk is always the way to go, and everybody else is crammed into that tiny little post office room, and there's no line at the kiosk. Just do it at the kiosk, people. Help everybody out. So.
My post office, they got the one guy that's always working there, and I can tell he doesn't like working there. So I do try and avoid him actually actively to not go down there.
That's the one you got to be nice to. You got to cheer him up a little bit.
Not me. Someone else can.
I have gotten festive with my snacks. I have found these new. I don't know if they're new. They're new to me. Pretzels, but they're covered in white chocolate peppermint.
Yeah, definitely.
My dad dropped off a 1 pound bag from Sam's Club on my porch yesterday, just kind of a gift as I'm nursing back from injury here. And I crawled my way down there to get it, and I ate the whole bag. I'm not ashamed to say it. That was my dinner, was just white chocolate peppermint covered pretzels.
Tasty.
Do you all have a favorite Christmas food item or snack this time of year?
It's on that note. I'm a big peppermint bark type guy. The white chocolate with the peppermint flakes kind of melted in there. I enjoy that. We had some earlier, maybe last week, and it didn't last very long either.
Yeah, we're big Chex Mix people. I like the savory, salty goodness. I have another Christmas movie recommendation. So the last couple weeks we've had cheesy Christmas movies that we've talked about. I watched Oh What Fun on Amazon Prime. It has Michelle Pfeiffer in it.
I almost started that last night. Okay.
It's pretty good. Don't let the 2.5-star rating deceive you. It's decent.
The lower it's rated, the better it is for a Christmas movie, in my opinion. What's it called again? I'll have to look it up.
Oh What Fun.
Oh What Fun. Okay.
It's funny you said that because I was scrolling. I pulled it up and I was like, should we just watch this? And Abby said it has a 2.5 rating. And I'm like, good call, and moved it. Because I think it is number 2 on most watched movies right now. So I'm like, somebody's watching it. It's good to know someone's out there. And I can't wait to tell her. We're going to ignore that rating. We're going to watch some Michelle Pfeiffer.
It's decent.
Even though my decorations aren't up, they're actually down just all over the floor. I've still watched Home Alone 1 and 2, Christmas Vacation, Santa Claus, and part of the Grinch. So I'm doing my best here, even if the decorations aren't put up just yet.
Oh,
Zach,
I've watched 30 Christmas movies probably already.
I know you're leaving to go somewhere else for Christmas, but do you get festive in your house?
Oh yeah, we've got a big tree I'm looking at right now. We've had it all up since pretty much right after Thanksgiving, whenever we got back home. So I think like maybe a couple of days after Thanksgiving, we threw the tree up, and yeah, we've had it decked out in here and for a while. So we're big on the themes for the seasonal themes. So yeah, it's looking good here. But we will be gone for a few days, which is kind of a bummer. So we don't get to enjoy it too much. But it'll be decked out at my dad's house too, so it'll be okay.
Well, we'll take care of the Bellarmine game without you. I'm sure you'll have to miss that one for your trip.
My
That's
flight
all right.
leaves at the exact same at tip off is actually when my flight leaves. So that was poor planning on my part to be fair. But there's not. Yeah, you gotta be picky and choosy with some of these flights. So
it's all right. It's Bellarmine. They'll be playing. Kentucky will be playing for a 4th win in a row at that point. They'll handle their business. But
Jaden
tonight,
Quaintance starting. Yeah, be awesome.
it's going to be crazy. Tonight we got to worry about volleyball. Final predictions. We're all taking the Cats, but the line is actually -1.5 sets. Will they cover that? Will they win by 2 or more sets?
Oh, that's how they do lines for volleyball. I never knew.
Yeah.
So they have to win 3-1.
3-1 or a sweep. Can they pull that off? That's how Vegas has the odds set.
Okay.
I was going to say 3-1.
Yeah.
So
every time I call a sweep, it goes poorly, so I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to say 3-1. I'll say Wisconsin steals the 2nd set, and then Kentucky dominates that 4th set and just kind of buries them.
I'm going to try to watch the 1st set at KS Bar if I'm able. And they always lose when I'm there. So I say we win 3-1. I watch the 1st set. We go down 0-1. I get in my car. By the time I'm getting home, we're about to win the 2nd set, and we'll go from there. Then we'll move on. Would you rather play Pitt? We want to knock them out after how we started the year? All right.
Yeah, you got to play the best.
Yes.
It's the best storyline. Also, by beating Wisconsin, we'll totally forget about 2015, right? Like, that's how it works, right? It won't have happened.
We never talk about it
Decker
anyways.
and Frank Kaminsky will forget that their game even happened if we handle our business against Wisconsin. Got to put that behind us. But thank you all for joining us here on another happy hour presented by Country Boy Brewing. Rest up. Volleyball starts in about 3 hours. We need everybody's best. I don't care if you're home alone on the couch or if you're in Kansas City at KS Bar, wherever you're watching. Kentucky's in a Final Four, and that matters. So we're excited about that. Let's get the win. Thank you, Zach, Tyler, and Steven behind the camera, and to you, Matt G, for trying to get our Taco Bell order. Maybe we'll work that out before we're done here. But thank you all for watching. We'll be back with lots more on the YouTube channel and a new happy hour next. Well, actually, that's Christmas. No,
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure out next week. But usually here Thursdays at 4 o'clock. Bye-bye.